Uh, yeah, it was 45, I
Well,
think.
45 is when the war ended.
Yeah.
But are you saying then that you didn't get to Oberlin College? No, you were in Oberlin College in 43, 44.
Oh, yeah. I was able to get FBI permission to go to Oberlin.
Yes.
And before, I guess I'm not sure what the deadline was, a number of us had applied to various universities. All the students had applied. And those who had been accepted by some deadline of sometime in March or April. I was the next to the last of that batch that was accepted to get out of camp. And the delay was due to the time it took for the FBI to
So
get.
you were likely in Oberlin by September 42, were you?
No. December 40, I got the permit. 41 to 42, I got the permission.
So December 42, so January 43.
January 43.
I'm born in September 42.
Yeah. January 43, I think. For January or February 43, I finally got to Oberlin.
Okay.
And then a month after I got there, I was elected president of the student
council.
body.
How the hell do you do that?
Well, I just showed up at the college.
Give me, how does the guy come out of a concentration camp, got to get FBI clearance to go to school, shows up at the university, and next month he's the president of the student body?
Well, I think the reason is very simple. One, I think the students, the majority of whom basically were women, would prefer a male. Secondly, the few men on campus, plus a contingent of Army recruits, were students, but the Army recruits could not be involved in campus politics.
Okay.
And most of the men had been, in fact, transferred immediately into the military unit. So none of the students, virtually none of the male students, could even run for president of the student society. So, and I don't know, I just arrived, and being a male student in the class along with them, even though the military unit was there, they couldn't interact really very well with the students. So somebody suggested, well, why don't you run for student body president? I mean, they're looking for somebody, and there are plenty of women there who want to see a male. I said, fine, put my name in.
And you won.
Yeah.
Now, then something else happened, because I've seen Time magazine articles on the internet, and I should have printed them out. I thought you actually ended up traveling around North America.
Well, I did a lot of traveling. Initially, while we were settled there was already a person of Japanese descent who was in the school of what's the church-related?
You mean philosophy, religion?
No, church-related institution. It's where
religious theology.
Yeah, school of
theology.
There's a school of theology at Oberlin.
Okay.
But I don't think it's part of Oberlin College. It's a separate school of theology. And there was a Japanese, or Japanese American, I guess, person who was, I think, on the faculty of this school. And he had found that churches around the college were interested in learning about what was happening to us as Japanese Americans, because knowledge about the evacuation and what is happening on the West Coast was virtually non-existent.
Nobody knew what was happening.
Yeah, it is outside the West Coast.
Yeah.
So we used to travel once we got to the college. Every Sunday we'd be out visiting the church and talking to them about what had happened to us. And became just a regular Sunday activity. And then particularly the YMYWCA, the church group, I've been active in it at the University of Washington. And I think once I got out there and they heard about me, I'd be invited. So I was traveling all over the U.S. and on weekends or conference weekends at the YMYW at X College would have with community, other college YMYWs within the state or.
So you spent a couple of years doing this.
Huh?
You spent a couple of years doing this.
Well, I spent as much time as I had available while I was attending Oberlin.
The college. Now, you graduated, obviously.
Yeah.
And you became a doctor of economics? PhD
Oh,
in
that took a while.
That took a while.
Yeah, because the federal government lifted the evacuation order or the order preventing us, the exclusion order, at the end of, effective the end of 1944.
Okay, so before the war before the Asian War was over.
That's right.
Okay.
And so I can remember at Oberlin leaving to get to Seattle to be one of the first two Japanese to be in Seattle.
Okay.
Before commencement, because it was the end of the spring term,
so you
I
went
think.
Back to did you go back and attend the University
No,
of Washington?
I got my degree. I was not present at Oberlin when the degree was awarded. I was in Seattle by that time.
Oh, okay. But Seattle gave you a degree this last summer. What was that all about?
That was...
In summer of 2008.
That's right.
You went down to Seattle with your wife Susan and were given an honorary degree or what was that all about?
Yes, I mean the University of Washington.
Yes.
Took the names of all the persons of Japanese descent who were at the university when the war broke out.
We have a book that's coming up here too.
And there were about 400 of Japanese descent.
These were all people that had been taken away from the university in 41.
They were attending the university when the war broke out.
Yeah.
And then they were forced out of Seattle. And so it's the University of Washington
awarded you the degree, or awarded.
They let's see, on 1948. What's the date? It doesn't. This 18th day of May, 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, less than a year ago.
Yeah, just coming up. Let me see this.
They decided that they would give some recognition or to the students who had been.
Higher. There, how's that? So they gave a degree of recognition, an honorary degree, because you were not able to get your degree at the time.
That's right. And they managed to contact all of those of us who had been at the university when the war broke out and been moved. And then the University of Washington had this celebration for the people, those of us who had been forced to move, and they give us an honorary baccalaureate, an honorary bachelor's degree.
And it's called the Long Journey Home.
Yeah.
Honoring University of Washington Nikkei students from 1941 and 42.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was very cool.
That's cool. That's just the kind of thing that we've got to do more. You know, I talked about the New Denver site.
Yeah.
And It is just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody goes there
Yeah.
because it's off the beaten track. I
Yeah.
mean, they might as well have put it on the other side of Grouse Mountain, and you got to
Right.
climb the Grouse Grind
Yeah.
to get to it. More people would see it if it was on top of Grouse Mountain and you climbed the Grouse Grind. And why